Hi everyone, how are you guys doing? I'm driving right now,
Good.
sorry.
Awesome.
Going right.
Okay, does anybody have any questions or anything before I have Mr. Doug take over? Anything they need, want to know?
I feel like Nathan should co-teach this with me because I feel like, Nathan, have I taught you all this stuff before? I feel like I have. That's what I thought.
Yeah, he can't talk to us today though.
He's
So,
just silent but beautiful. Got it.
yeah, silent but beautiful in his coffee shop today.
I'm proud of you. You're a great teacher.
All right, then I'm gonna go ahead and turn this over to Doug. I'm gonna mute myself, and if you guys have any questions, we'll get them answered.
Perfect.
Oh, real quick, guys, I actually do have something, and we're actually gonna do this next group coaching next Wednesday, but I finally did, Maria, watch that after our conversation yesterday. I watched the 3-way call video because I guess I knew I needed to know what it said. What an amazing freaking video. Like we're gonna watch that video together and answer some questions about how we're gonna be doing this and how to actually edify everybody. And now I understood your questions.
Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, that was like, I was mind blown when I got done with that. And like, there's just so much stuff that we can kind of pause and cover with you guys. And Amanda and I talked about it. So we'll dive into that more on how we can help you guys. But yeah, that was, if you haven't watched it, like I said, we're going to watch it in 2 weeks, but yeah, wow. So thanks for calling me out on that yesterday, making me go and do my homework that I should have done the day before. So.
It wasn't a call out. It was just a heads up that I was going to ask you for your background.
I know, but it wasn't a call out as far as you're concerned. But Amanda had asked me twice if I had had a chance to watch it, and I was like, I'll get to it. And then you asked a question about it that I should have been able to answer. And so it made me do it, but I'm super excited that I did do it because I got off of it and had get my sticky notes with my 8 steps and like super excited about it. So thank you for that. Like whether you meant to do it or not. So, all right, go ahead, Doug, take it away.
Cool. All right, so today is going to be some of the lessons in KV Core. KV Core is a lot of stuff that it can do for us. And I'm not going to get into everything today, but I will get into specifically how to set up a campaign, very much like the one we learned about, was it last week, on the 7 days of pain. And so how to set that up, what that looks like, and kind of what you can do. Because what's going to happen is, for those of you that have never set up your own campaign before, you're going to learn basically the steps on how to do it. So that way you can set up your own campaigns. You don't have to do the 7 days of pain. You can do whatever you want to call your own campaigns. It's just really important to have. So today is going to be kind of the technical aspect of stuff. However, I will tell you right away that I'm going to need probably Melinda's help. And Melinda's trying to enter. Hold on, not Melinda's help. Probably Leah's help. I got it. Because once I flip over to the other screen, I won't be able to see all your beautiful faces. So if you have a question, shout them out. You'll have to interrupt me because I can't see you raising your hand or anything like that. So feel free to interrupt me whenever you need. All right, so let's go to share screen. KV Core, here we go. All right, so the first thing I'll have you do before we even go to KV Core is on your Facebook, there's this thing called World Cappers EXP. Everyone should see this. If you go over, you click on more, you click on files, you can see here's all the file names. Here's one, the very, very top on April 22nd that Leah put in called 7DOP and 8x8 Rubin. So if you click on that, it'll download, and that's what the scripts we're going to be using today. So I had it pulled up. I don't know where it's at. Is it in my background? Yeah, it is. Okay, so you guys probably can't see that it's in my background, but it is. So back. All right, so now we're going to flip back over to KV Core. And let me minimize this so I don't see all of that. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is on this thing called, you have lead engine, marketing autopilot, CRM. This is the stuff, again, real quick overview, just a KV Core. If you've never looked at KV Core yourself at all, you can switch to the new mode. It doesn't really matter. But you can see, oh, hey, this Amanda Renee girl, she's been texting me back and forth. So you can see half of the text. You only see her half, which I think is weird. Or Kevin just looked up this house. Great. I can follow up with Kevin and be like, hey, Kevin, I saw you were looking up a house in Clayton. That's awesome. So this is kind of your just quick overview, quick stuff that's kind of going on right there. Anything at a glance. Also on the top, you should never have 26 notifications of things you should be doing, because you should be calling these people when you're supposed to. I'm bad about that. I don't really go off of that all the time. So I do call them, but I don't always mark them done, and they get overwhelming, and I'll tell you why they got overwhelming in a minute. So anyway, but what you're going to be doing is you're going to go to, I think it's Marketing Autopilot. And when you go to Marketing Autopilot, the very first button is called Smart Campaigns. So if you're following along, click on Start a Campaign. And then you have, it'll pull up. So there are system campaigns, 24 system campaigns in KV Core already. These are campaigns that are already pre-done for you just by being a part of EXP. So if you click on that down list, you can see, hey, there's an open house campaign. Hey, there's something called conversion default seller campaign. I think that was actually the campaign before we had KV Core. It was called Conversion, I'm pretty sure. So anyway, so there's that one. There's just different campaigns in here. Select the ones you like, add it to your library by just clicking on the button here that says Add to Library. And then you already have a campaign that works for you that is going to give you a good starting place if you've never used KV Core, if you've never used a campaign before. So that's good to know. Once you add it to your library, it'll go down here where it says My Library, and it'll show you all the campaigns that you have. So I have 15 campaigns because I also did this default new lead seller, and I think one of the Convision something or other. Somehow I got Nick's high conversion buyer campaign. I've got a whole bunch of different campaigns. The little bar on the very, very right is blue or gray. Blue means it's on, gray means it's off. So I'm not using the Express Offers one. I'm not using Nick's. I'm not using some of these others down here. I am using all the ones that are blue, but it doesn't mean that they're always active. Matter of fact, I've set all mine to none of them actually go until I make them go, if that makes sense. I don't want to see that anymore. Okay, so the ones I want to show you right now is I called it 10 days of pain because I thought it was 10 instead of 7, and then I realized it was 7, so whatever. So my 10 days of pain, which is really only 7, this is the one I'm creating, right? This is the one I created. And you can see it says immediate day 1 text, and all of these are texts. And I just named them day 1, day 2, day 3, all the way through 7. And what time? Well, this one goes out immediately. This one goes out on day 2. This one goes out on day 3. So you can see how they're all set up and what they're going to be doing. It starts when I add the hashtag 10 days of pain. It'll automatically upload and start. That's what I set it up for, and I'll show you how to do that. It's for buyers and sellers because it's not really it's for anything. Always run is a no. So I did not put it as always run. So how do you create a campaign? So if I go back to all campaigns and I have add a campaign. So on the very right hand side, you see add a campaign, and let's call this, maybe there's no start trigger because I want to do it on my own, which is usually what I do. Maybe I want to add a trigger and say, it'll start when I make the logic that, hashtag 10 days of pain, and it'll automatically start when I do that. So right now I'm just going to put no start trigger, and that's totally fine. So I'll click next. Oop, I have to have at least one start trigger because I think I clicked something. You must define at least one trigger or opt out. I want to opt back out. I messed something up. No start trigger. Next. Now it works. Okay, so, and I'll make this one for buyers and sellers because that works for me. Maybe I want to make it for agents. Let me change that. I'll make this one for agents. You guys are making yours for the other thing, but I'll show you. Now I should really do what I'm pretending to do. Cancel. Let's go back to designated. Buyers and sellers and agents. Sure, that's totally fine. We're going to call this one the real 7 days of pain. And then I'm going to make my description of whatever I want to call this. Description is start conversations. Sure. Always run? Nope, I am not having it always run. I'm only going to do it when I wanted to. Locked? I don't really know what locked even means. Oh, I didn't spell conversations right. How about that? I didn't know what locked even means, so no, it's fine. I don't need it locked. And click next again. And this is just kind of an overview. Are you sure? Yeah, this looks great. So I'm going to go yes. Any questions so far?
No, sir.
Okay, hearing none. So now you can see that I have one called the Real 7 Days of Pain in my library. My description is start conversations, blah, blah, blah. It's in off status right now, which is fine. I can go back in there later and just click it to on. That's not a big deal. So I'm going to go into it and click on it. Okay, once it loads up, there it goes. So I'm going to do something, but I'm going to have to go backwards and basically show you what I'm doing because of how it works. So in theory, you would put add an action and you're like, yeah, that's exactly what I do, what I want to do. We know with the 7 days of pain, everything's a text message. So boom, I'm going to click on SMS because that's text. And I could give it a name, but I'm not going to do that quite yet because the templates, well, I need to make it, I have to, let's see the templates, right? And I've got all these templates everywhere, tons and tons of templates. I don't know if you guys can see the little scroll bar that pops up, but tons of templates. However, there is no template called 7 Days of Pain Day 1 because it hasn't been created. Actually, for me, it has been created, but for you guys, it has not been created. So in order for you to get to this first part, you actually have to cancel out of this and go back up to the spot that says templates on top. So you have campaign library and you have templates. So you're going to create some templates right now that are going to be for your 7 days of pain. All right, so you're going to add a template. And it's going to be a text message. Template name is going to be 7 DOP Day 1. Nope, not the explanation point, but Day 1. Sure. And the content is going to say, and this is where, if you've pulled it up from before, you have the 7 days of pain. I just literally copied and pasted from the document, but you can't see that part, so I'm going to paste it in here. This is what it says. It says, good morning / afternoon, blank name. It's blank name. This is my real estate office number, and I want to send you the information, the info, just in case you see it flash across your phone. It's me, it's been a while, how are you doing? What's going on? Boom, that's it. So here's the template. So what I do right away is I take out name, I delete that, and you go ahead and put in that same symbol, which is just that like little weird parentheses thing, and then I can put in lead first name. And then that's all you have to do. And then instead of name that, I can put in that same symbol again. And now I'm going to scroll down. I don't know if you can see my scroll, but it says agent first name. So now,
how do you get to that list? How do you get to that drop-down list? Are you right-clicking?
Okay. Nope. I am clicking Shift, and then that little parentheses thing that's next to the P.
Oh,
So the
okay.
one on the right of the P.
and then
So you
it
just click
comes
that,
up.
and you
Okay,
can put in,
got it.
and it pops up that list all by itself. There's a lot of things on here. If you want to put in your office fax number, if you want to put in whatever, there's a
Okay.
lot of funky things that it can automatically add to it.
Sure.
I usually just do my first name, things like that, or their first name, and that's it.
All right,
So that
thank you.
list automatically populates for you. I also take out morning, afternoon, because I'm like, I would know if it's morning or afternoon. So I just say, hey, John, hey, whoever it is, it's Doug. This is my real estate, and then it goes on from there. So, and that's it. That's all I did. Add template, done. That one is now added to my library. So when I click over to text messages, you can see 7 DOP Day 1 is now in here. You can also see it because I've created this one, so therefore it's mine, I can edit it. But all the rest of these are automatically done, so I can't edit these, which kind of is stupid if you ask me, but you can clone them and then edit them on your own if you wanted to do that. But so here it is, 7 DOP day 1. I literally did that with all 7 text messages and created all 7 templates. And then you go back over to that campaign library. Once you've created all 7, and we click on the campaign when it loads up. There it goes. So the real 7 days of pain, I click on that. Now I'm going to add my action. It's a SMS, click on that. My template is 7 DOP day 1. You can view it. Hey, this is, that's the one. That's exactly what I just wrote. So that's perfect. I can name this 7 DOP day 1. Now you go to, it's going to be from the agent to the contact. That makes sense. That works for me. So I'm going to leave that all the same. Do I want to run it immediately? Because this one is day 1? Yeah, I do. However, if it's day 2, day 3, day 4, or maybe if you're making a different campaign and it's like, well, I don't want to text them immediately. Maybe I want to text them, let's say 2 hours after. So I just click hours, I click 2, and that's it. So now it's going to go 2 hours after I start them on the campaign, it's going to be going. If I wanted to make that days, if I wanted to make that minutes, whatever you want to do. And again, you can do this for everything from text messages to emails to whatever it's going to send out. It can send it out on your behalf and it's auto created. All you have to do is put them under this thing, right? So let's make this 1. Come on. There we go. 1. Actually, no, for this one, it's going to be immediate. So I'm going to run this one immediately, and then I'm going to say add, and it's done. So this one is added. So immediately, 7 DOP day 1, text, agent contact. I can preview it, I think. Yep. Hey, this is, and trust me, it's going to go out exactly how we want it to, with my name in here and their name in here. So don't worry about that. And this is it. So cool. So that's the first one. And that's how simple it is to create every single action that you do. You can create campaigns that have all the different things on there. It can have text messages. Calling is a little bit weird because all it does, and this is why I have 1,000,001 check marks of things that I'm not done, is because I had campaigns going that had me call the person every day. And it just got so overwhelming to me and to the person because they're like, why are you calling me every day? Because that's what some of the default campaigns make you do. So all it does is put it on a to-do list that says, call so-and-so. I found that to be really annoying. I think emails are awesome. I think texts are awesome. Tasks, obviously, you're making yourself have a task of calling them, send them a postcard. You can maybe, whatever the task is, drive by their house, drop them off gift baskets, whatever it's going to be, you can add your own task, and then you can obviously do it later. I'm not a big, I don't know much about Zapier and Webhook. So those are things I'm sure you can add. I'm not a genius at this stuff. I just play one on TV. So that's what you do. You click it and then that's it. So, and you create this, you fill it out as much as you can, all 7 days or whatever you're doing. And then you go back over to that first screen. And now you want to make sure that it's on go. Otherwise you won't be able to find it later. So under my library, I want to make sure it's blue. So the status, are you sure this will allow for running? Of course, yes, of course I'm sure. So now real 7 days of pain is now active. I can run it whenever I want to. So now if I go back to my smart CRM, Sorry, because I'm in Zoom, it's making my computer take forever. And I have all my contacts in here of different people. So let's say I'm gonna add a quick contact real quick. Let's see. Leah, what's your email address?
Leah.shin
At ESP?
Yeah, but I'm not gonna be able to give you a cell phone number.
That's okay, I don't need that. Oh, yeah, I do. Dang it. All right, I'm not gonna use Leah anymore.
Not unless you want to text Mexico.
Bree, what's your cell phone number?
828-400-1966.
That's nice and easy.
Okay.
Please, nobody else text me.
All right, and so I'm not gonna get Bree's email, so I'm not gonna put email, but I can call and text her if I want to. So I'm sure you guys have all done this part of it, because this is just adding normal contacts. Lead status is, she is I don't know what she is. She's a sphere of influence because she's my friend. So I'm gonna put her under sphere. My source lead is sphere of influence. My lead owner is obviously myself. And start a campaign. Yeah, I'm gonna put her on a campaign. I'm gonna call it the 7 Days of Pain. Where'd that go? Oh no. Oh, real 7 Days of Pain right there. I was like, where'd it go? Okay. And so now she is on that. I'm gonna add contact. It's gonna save it. And the skier. She just got a text. Bree, did you get a text? Maybe.
She said yes.
Oh, cool. I didn't hear it. So it said,
I
hey,
didn't hear her, I
it's
just
Doug.
saw her.
So this is my real, and I literally just sent it to her. You can see it changed her name to Skeeter because that's what I changed her name to. It put my name in there as Doug. Everything else is just fine. Now when she texts back, if she doesn't text back, day 2 is going to pop on day 2. Day 3 is going to pop, and all the different days are going to continue to pop every single day until she texts back. When she texts back, I'm going to immediately take her off of the campaign, which is right here. And I don't know why. Oh, that was the beginning and end of that campaign. So it automatically took her off because I only had one thing under it. Otherwise, you'd have to take her off the campaign. And then you have to start talking to her. So, because really it is, how are you? She texts back, I'm fine. What's new with you? I'm like, great. And so we just start a conversation up because again, this whole thing is about building relationships. That's all it's about. So now she's talking to me. I'm going to take her off of the 7 Days of Pain because otherwise it's weird when it says, the next one says, hey, did you get my text yesterday? And she's like, yeah, I did. Thanks. We had a whole conversation. That's weird. So you got to make sure to take her off right away. And then you want to add her to a new campaign. So I'm going to add a campaign and it's going to be after 7 Days of Pain. I created one and I'm going to add that one. And you can see on May 13th at 3:26, she's going to get an email that says, hey, curious, who's your preferred real estate agent that you go to for asking real estate questions? And this is again 7 days after she and I have been talking again. Maybe I talked to her a couple times this week, but this is just going to pop up on hers as she and I are talking again. And she's be like, oh yeah, oh, thanks for, so I'm not going to talk about real estate for the next 7 days in that sense, because I know that this one's going to come out. Once she does this, then again, if you're looking back at Ruben's stuff, it is, the script was, let me see if I can find that part of the script. But basically, it was your call to action. Your call to action is, hey, do you have anyone that's, that you go to as your go-to real estate person? If not, or actually she says, yes, I've got somebody. I say, awesome. I love their service. I love that their service is so dang good and you stuck with them. That's great. That speaks volumes of that agent. If for any reason they get out of business, they move, or just aren't available to help, can I be your plan B? So that's one of the scripts that Ruben offered. So I can put that in there if she says yes. If she says no, Then I say, awesome. Would you mind thinking of me? I'd be happy to help you with any of your real estate needs. And she's like, sure, I guess. Why not? So boom, those are both your 2 scripts for no matter which way they go. All you have to do is just remember it or copy and paste this later. And in 7 days, she's going to get a text that says just that. Hey, curious, who's your preferred real estate agent that you go to for asking real estate questions? Boom. All right, so what are y'all thinking? How was that confusing? Was that easy? Was that, what questions do you have?
So I'm gonna jump in real quick. 2 things. One, guys, this is recorded. So I know that it'll come out as soon as Amanda puts it into the Facebook page. Because Doug talks a little fast. And especially if we're trying to do it at the same time. So yes, it is recorded. So don't worry about that. The other thing is that I just put the scripts in the chat box in case you don't have them or don't remember where they are. So they're in the chat box for you. And most importantly, those little brackets, they are named braces or curly brackets for their formal name.
Perfect. The curly brackets.
The curly brackets.
So yeah, and that's how you start all of them up. I've created a couple different campaigns. So that way, and you can even see some of my campaigns that I've created.
Guys, this is huge that you can automate this stuff, because once you set it up, it just goes and it keeps them in touching your people for you. That's one of the reasons I wanted to do this today, is because you can automate so much stuff that you're gonna start getting contacts back from stuff that you just have out there running. Automate, this is leverage, right? This is leverage. If you had to sit there and send that text, you only have to create that template 1 time. You don't have to create it 500 times to touch your database of 500 people. 1 time and attach the contact, and it runs the whole 7 days. And again, most importantly, guys, if they re-engage with you, on the left-hand side where Doug was trying to add or stop the campaign because there was only 1 thing in there, let me reiterate, there'll be a thing that says stop campaign. Make sure you stop that campaign, because there's nothing worse than them getting that information the next day after you've spoken to them, because then they feel like you did just automate them.
Great. And the most important thing about, in my opinion, about all this stuff is exactly what Leah just said. Don't make it a form letter. Don't make it something that sounds automated. You all get hit up every single day in your email, your text messages, your phone calls by people selling you stuff, and you can tell almost immediately that they're selling you something. So try to make it personable. Try to make it who you are. Hey, Bree, this is Doug. How's it going? Done. I'm not putting in giant scripts with trademarked little icons that I put in there that I've been working on for weeks, and I'm not doing all that stuff. I'm making this just authentic. It's easy. If you look at, like, I have one called Waiting. I literally made this one because it was just, I had people that I was calling and texting and doing all this stuff every single day, and eventually they were like, yeah, I'm just not looking right now, or I gotta, things aren't working out, I can't move to North Carolina yet. Great. Instead of me calling them every single day for them to tell me the exact same thing, I just made one called Waiting, and let's see, it's got 6 touches in there, and it's a call, an email, a text. Basically, in 3 months, I text them back saying, hey, how's it going? This is Doug again. I know that you were waiting. What's new? Maybe it's an email. It says, hey, I'm still around. I know that you were waiting on something, so I'm still around here. Give me a call or a text or an email anytime that you're ready. So I'm just doing that every couple of months, and I think this is a year-long. This is my Waiting. I put it up for a year, so I only have 6 touches in an entire year for Waiting. I could probably do more. I'm not an expert. I don't know. Nick's high conversion buyer campaign. This is one that Nick, what is his last name? Nick over in Charlotte area.
McCree.
Yeah, that one. Sure. He created this one. First 72 hours, 1 call over 3 days. So call. So again, he's calling the person right away. He is minute 3, he's sending him an email. So 3 minutes after he puts him in, he's sending him an email. You want to see what that email says? It says, hey, first name, hope you're having a great day. I wanted to shoot you a quick email. Thank you for stopping by my website to search for homes. I hope you're able to find information you are looking for easily. If there's anything specific I can help find at the moment, let me know. Boom, that's it. That's his email. So it's pretty normal, pretty easy. Then that's minute 3. Then hour 1, so 1 hour later, he sends them a text. Hey, this is again Doug with EXP. Wanted to reach out and regarding a couple of homes that you're looking at on my website earlier. Is now a good time? The challenge with texts and emails and all this stuff, mostly text, is if you're saying is now a good time, you better be around to answer that text. If they say, yes, now's a great time, and then you don't reply back to them for 4 hours, it's going to look weird. So if you're going to put stuff like, is now a good time, make sure you're putting in like, can I call you today at 2? And then make sure that every day at 2, you are ready to call people. Anyone that's on your list. I don't know, whatever you want to do, just make sure that it works and it doesn't feel like it's been automated. But you can see Nick goes a little crazy. He's got day 2, another email. Day 2, he's going to call him again. Day 2, another task. I don't know what this task is. It says set up a twice a week search. So he's going to set up a search for him. So that's his task. So he does all this stuff just on day 1 and 2. He does 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different things in the first 2 days. Kind of a lot, but I mean, if it works, it works. And then he goes 5 days, 7 days, 7 days again. Like you can see, he's got it for 1 full month, it looks like. So he's got a 1 month thing that happens. Anytime he gets a buyer from his website, and his is actually automatically set up. So the second they go onto his website, it automatically sends this stuff out. It starts them on the campaign. So you can create whatever campaigns you want, putting whatever you want in them. And the templates, just remember the weirdest part is you can't create templates while you're creating your campaign, which I think is kind of dumb, but it's just how KB Core works. You got to go in and create your templates, then you can go back and add those to your campaign that you're creating. So templates first, campaign second.
Most CRMs are I've built that, the ones that I've worked in are like that. It's just the way that, because they need to know what it is that it's attaching into that campaign. So follow-up bosses.
It's just not how my brain works. My brain, so typically what I do is I create the campaign first, and then I start creating templates, and I'm like, oh, you know what? I should really send them a text message on day 3. And then I have to go back and create that template, and then I go back in my campaign and add it to the campaign, just because that's the way my brain works. Is I'm trying to be logical, but I kind of need to create it at the same time. So if you could just sit down for 5 minutes and kind of think through, like, what are the things I want to put in my campaign, you can create all your templates at once and then go back and create it.
Yep. It's a great place to create your newsletters.
I mean, yeah.
Just
Yeah.
a quick sidebar to all this. For people who may not be the best at writing of any sort, strongly recommend to put this in a Word, send the text to yourself first, so you're putting in appropriate grammar, that you're not missing commas and periods, that you realize that your spelling's correctly, that you're reading it. Maybe send it to yourself first so that you read it before it goes out to anybody, and you're like, oh, okay, maybe that seems a little too pushy. Maybe I missed this here, misspelled that here, or even ask somebody that you know to read it first. Especially if you're not using something that somebody's already created, if you're doing your own, please, just as a professional to the whole business, and so the EXP name is not tarnished.
That's why I don't recreate the wheel. I will benchmark. I will cut and paste all day long, people.
I did something like this, Doug, too, where for everybody also you can, like at Christmas time and Thanksgiving, I created a campaign. So I set up like a recipe for like a roast or something like that for Thanksgiving. And it was really good because you're able to create that campaign, put it in your in your library, and then I set up the time. So say if I had time on Monday, I had already added everybody in my contact that on, you know, that week before Thanksgiving or even the week prior, set up the time and hour, and everybody in my database, even agents, I gave it to agents as well. And it was a recipe for a pot roast and wishing them all well and thinking about them. And I even had agents from that I've done business with that reached back and was like, thank you for thinking of me. I'm going to definitely use this recipe. So you can definitely be creative. It doesn't just have to be campaigns. It can be all sorts of stuff that you can send out to your clients and to agents and stuff like that, and do it as a mass. And that way you can set it up, forget about it, and it's going to run on its own.
Set it and forget it.
Yeah, I highly recommend take the time to do this stuff. It's like Leah always says, right? You can be doing, and I'm bad at this too. I need to take some time just to go in and see what the campaigns I have are. Again, when I'm looking at my campaigns, so Doug's new lead seller campaign, I'm bad because there's things that phone calls in. I tried to go back through and take some of the phone calls out. I call them anyway. I don't need the system yelling at me to call the person. So I've taken all the phone calls out. You can see I don't have phone calls in here anymore, just because I found it to be weird. But I still do texts and emails, right? And yeah, I think that's great to have those. But really go through and create them for you. It's really important. If you're using the ones that are already the templates in there, it's okay, but they're very generic, and I don't think they're that good. And there's questions in there sometimes. It says, hey, give me a call today, or are you free, or are you looking for a are you looking to buy a house for yourself, or is it an investment situation? And then all of a sudden you get a text back and they're like, investment. And you're like, what does this mean? What? So you need to know what it's saying ahead of time.
Yeah, make sure you know what it says. And you know what, and I do, like, if you feel like you need to make it your own, do it. If you don't feel like you need to make it your own, just run it. Running something is running better than running nothing. Because again, and you can look at the business analytics on this, it'll tell you how many people opened them, how many people had them open for a certain amount of time, and you can see which ones are more successful. My whole take on a campaign, other than the 7 days of, like, with emails, not necessarily text messages, but the emails themselves, I don't care if they open them. I just want them to see my name hit their inbox. I could show you right now, I'm on probably 25 different campaigns. I see Michael Martin's name to this day, even though I'm in Mexico, come across my screen at least once or twice a week. And guess what? Well, who was it? Nathan. Oh, I don't have a lender. Who did I tell you to call? Michael Martin. Why? He was top of my mind, right? So that's the idea behind most of these emails. The text messages, again, you're trying to get them to engage, and some, if you're doing 7 days of pain, again, it's about getting the engagement. But if you have them running like the ones he said that are waiting and they're not ready yet, but if you're touching them, you'd be surprised. A year later, these people will be like, hey, Doug, we're ready now. And because Doug stayed top of mind, like I used to do that with my open house people. Because if you follow up with your open house right away after your open house and they don't answer, they don't pick up, I try them for a week. And then if I don't get anything from them, I would put them on a campaign or on just some generic search, so that I was touching them. And you'd be surprised, a year later, I got somebody going, hey, you know what? You were the only one that actually stayed in touch with me, even though I didn't even say anything to you for the last year, but I want to work with you. And again, if you consider those, I don't like to use the words dead leads, but they are, right? If you take those dead leads and you put them on a campaign and you get one deal out of those leads by just having automatically touched them, heck yeah, I'll take it all day long. So automation.
Agreed. Questions?
Any questions? Was this helpful?
Yeah.
So Doug, it's been 7 days since you started, right?
Since I started?
Since you started the campaign, the 7 days of campaign?
Yeah.
And what kind of results are you getting?
Very good for the people that I put on it. I did kind of a test pilot group, so I did like 5 people, and all 5 people I've gotten contacts with again. And these are people I haven't talked to for years. And some of the people are kind of like, oh, why did I try it on this person? Because there was a reason I wasn't talking to that person, because they're a friend from a former life. And I'm like, oh man. But yeah, I'm back into doing it. Matter of fact, one of the guys that I wasn't texting on purpose, he's kind of standoffish, but he's like, I mean, I don't really have an agent, because I did the 7 days after for him too, because I did the 7 days. He contacted me back. We were talking for a couple, for 2 days or so. And then my next one came out and he was like, I don't really have someone. I was like, well, would you mind putting my name out there for anyone that, either for yourself or anyone else that might ask a real estate question, feel free to share my information. He was like, sure, I guess. So, I mean, it worked as far as that stuff goes. The 7 days of pain was easy in the sense of, yeah, they're going to reply back to you. And none of the people that I put on my first 5 or so people, none of them answered me off the first day. Not one of them. So it was day 2, day 3, and day 4 when they all answered. I got them all by those next couple of days. The first text, not a single person answered me.
Yeah, by day 2 and day 3, they realize you're not going anywhere until they do answer you.
I haven't given up on them. I'm texting them again. Hey, I saw I didn't get a response from you yesterday. Are you okay? Whatever it is. And they're like,
yeah, I'm fine.
Yes.
Yep.
So great
Any
question.
other questions? No? Doug, can you pop your screen back so I can see everyone?
Mm-hmm.
I did it.
You did it. I was going to say,
Yeah.
I went to click on it and it didn't do it. So, okay, cool.
I gotcha. Okay, so well, first of all, thank you so much for doing that, because you did that way better than I could have done it, and just because you've gone through the process the whole time. And again, it is recorded, guys, so we'll get it out there to you. I'm not sure how fast Amanda will be able to get it out. She's normally within 24 hours. Yesterday, she was pretty quick. I'm just not sure what she's got going on today. So we'll get it out to you. Again, the scripts are in the chat box if you didn't already pull them out. Does anybody have any other questions about just anything else in general that you wanted to ask, talk about, say? No? Okay.
Thank you, Doug.
Yeah, of course.
Yes, thank you very much.
Yeah, it was very helpful. Thanks.
And
Like I said, I think the 7 days of pain is easy. I more wanted to do this because it's not about the 7 days of pain. That one works great and you can use it, that's fine. But it's more about how to set up the entire system. I think that's gonna be more useful for you than the 7 days. You can copy and paste those scripts all day long and be done with it. But knowing how to set up your own, I think, is more important.
yeah, just know how to automate anything, because that's a touch. And it's something you don't have to think about once you do it. Again, building those foundational pieces, you have to do it one time. But once it's done, it's done. And then it starts making you money. So, all right, guys, have a great day. If you need anything, you know how to find me. We'll get the recording out to you. And I hope you have an amazing weekend. And I am here this Monday. So we'll see you. I'll see you guys on Tuesday unless I'm coaching with you before then.
Bye.
Cheers.
Bye, everyone.